the image that we burn here, that we prepare, you have in your home directory, /home/pi/java, is the central Java directory. You can find there Java Embedded Suite, JDK 1.8, and also the Java ME if you want to hack with Java ME. So your option. We are making available some sample apps like the gateway. The gateway I'm running here is a Things gateway. It's a RESTful application, very simple RESTful application. We have an application called PyFit. PyFit is a JavaFX application that reads a heart monitor sensor and plots a very nice chart with the heartbeat. So they did this application during the last hackathon in Brazil, and they send us the code to be an example for you. So you can start with this and improve this project or hack this project. So, and I bring here also the Tweet for Pi. Tweet for Pi is a very funny application that we did, that you can command the GPIO using Twitter. So you send messages to your Raspberry Pi GPIO, and you can do it using Twitter. And we also have the automation effects, which is Face for home automation, that Bruno Borges from Oracle did, and make the code available for us. And with automation effects, you can monitor the embedded panel, see the sensors, turn on, turn off relays, and everything. The sensors that we have, we bring the main toy that we bring is the embedded panel. The idea of the embedded panel is avoid a lot of sensor, one for each table. So here we have a kind of shared sensors, a central with shared sensors that you can consume using REST. This embedded panel, we have 2 Raspberry Pis and 2 Arduino-based board. We are factoring our own Arduino in Brazil. Is a bigger Arduino with many components inside the Arduino. It's the opposite way. It's not a shield. It's a larger Arduino with transistors, a temperature sensor, light sensor, motor controller for robots, and many connectors. And we have in this embedded panel 8 relays. We bring a water pump, and Yolande bring a plant. So you can think about hacking a plant with a water pump or something like this. Monitor the temperature, and And we bring a fan, this is small fan, and we have this popcorn machine also. You can do a hack with the popcorn machine and the camera, like turn on the popcorn machine with the camera and analyze the image to see, to pop, to pop. So it's all yours. We have LED stripe, so you can change the color of the panel. We have alcohol sensor. This alcohol sensor is very funny sensor because you can measure how much someone drink. So you have distance, temperature, humidity, light sensors, and a heart monitor, which is a SparkFun board that works with Polar. So the most famous heart monitor. And we bring a Polar here so you can use it. That's the architecture. So we have Raspberry Pi, Java Embedded Suite, the gateway, which is the application that is available for you. To communicate with Arduino, I'm using Things API. It's an API that I did by myself that make it easy, the RxTX. So you don't need to know anything about the RxTX. And I solve many synchronization problems inside this API. So it's very easy to plug an Arduino and communicate with Arduino using Things API. Or if you are a serial expert, like RxTX expert, you don't need my API. But if you never used it before, I would recommend, because you are going to spend a lot of time with synchronization problems that I had in the last 4 years, So we have Arduino with different sensors, especially the analog sensors they are all plugged on Arduinos, like the alcohol, the light sensor, the internal temperature is an LM35, so it's analog, and you can have PWM, and the Arduino also drive the LED RGB stripe. So you can set up the color based on amount that you send to green, blue, and red. And you can, in other way, you can use Pi4J to access the Raspberry Pi GPIO and plug sensors, make PWM, and use complex sensors with different types of protocol. So the panel is here, and the address, I'm going to say very fast this information, but we have the IPs of this panel. You can get inside this network to access the panel. It's a wireless network. We have the wireless modules for Raspberry, and the 11 is this one, the first one. The second is the right side. The one is the left side. The Raspberry Pi number 3 is this home automation box. So I also bring this home automation box. Is everything inside, the relays, the sensors, the same thing as the embedded panel. But sometimes you say, oh, I need to make a stress test, and I don't want to stress test the embedded panel. So we have a small version of this, the embedded panel that you can use in your table and use like an exclusive mode. And the last one is the robot. The robot has the same architecture, sensors and everything for you to hack, so it's available. You can make it you can see how much alcohol you drink. So the components that we have in the Pi number 1, 2 relays, temperature, external temperature, the board temperature, humidity, and distance sensor. The Raspberry Pi number 2, we have 2 relays also, 2 AC sockets, the alcohol sensor, board temperature. We have the servo to move the camera. We have the red, green, and blue. You just call this URL, passing a number from 0 to 255, indicating how much of that color you want. So you can combine the colors. And in the port 8081, you have the camera. So you can also capture the camera from the image and transfer using network and make a JavaFX interface. It's all yours. And the home automation box, we have the popcorn machine is, I just plug in the home automation box because the popcorn machine is kind of, it exceeds the 10 amps that my relay supports. So that relay is for 20 amps. And so the first time I tried to manipulate the popcorn machine in the embedded panel, not good. So, but it's working here. So the home automation box had the same thing for the colors also. And the robot, you have the actuators. Sorry, the robot is in Portuguese. The API, the REST interface is in Portuguese. I didn't translate, but okay. It's easy. Frente is forward, forward is frente, backward ré, left, esquerda, right, direita, rotate, girar. So you can learn a little Portuguese with that. And the robot, you have light sensor, the temperature sensor, but you have the 2 distance sensor. Those sensors are ping from parallax. And the gateway that is inside is pre-installed also in your image. To start the gateway, you just need to type things gateway, and it will turn on the glassfish, and you can access your board using our gateway. So I will talk more about this architecture tomorrow, but that's the way that the gateway relates to Arduino. Here I have the Arduino code using the Things API for Arduino. I declare the components that I had inside Arduino, in a very easy way of writing code, and all those components will be available. If I write red here, it will be available through the Java Embedded Suite using this URL. So the name you put here is the name that you are going to access using the gateway, the RESTful gateway. So the source code, I will show more details tomorrow of this source code. And it's all available in my GitHub, so you can clone the Things API. So the Things API is a basic project, you know, we don't have many people using, but I am looking forward for your collaboration, you know. Tweet for Pi, that is inside all the Raspberry already have Tweet for Pi installed. And it's a basic application that they did in Brazil also during the hackathon. And we bring here, so it's a starting point for you, but it's in Portuguese. The code is kind of in Portuguese, but very simple to understand. And you can command the Raspberry Pi turning on fan, GPIO 23.1. And you are going to turn on. You need to run these serves, the Tweet for Pi serves in your Raspberry Pi, and it will grab the message from Twitter for each 20 seconds and see if you have some message with GPIO word inside your message. And you need to, if you are going to use, you need to put your consumer key. You need to go to the dev.twitter.com and you need to create a access token for your application. It's very simple. You can. We are going to give the support if you want to hack Raspberry Pi with Twitter. So now I'm going to start the gateway in Raspberry Pi number 1. And I will do the same thing in the Raspberry Pi number 2. So I have all the gateways running in all the Raspberry Pis, in 3 Raspberry Pis, and in a few minutes I'm going to turn on the gateway inside the robot also. But what I'm going to show is I could command using REST calls. So let's check for the temperature. The first call takes a little bit more time because it's establishing the communication between Raspberry and Arduino. So 23 Celsius makes sense. So I'm going to ask in Portuguese, and the answer will be in English. So qual a temperatura ambiente? Temperature.
Temperature is 22.0 Celsius.